Hi students, today we will discuss about valency bond theory or orbital overlapping theory. So after causal-Lewis theory, there is some failure in the causal-Lewis theory. It is not explaining the formation of electron deficient molecules, not explaining formation of electron rich molecules, not able to explain about the odd electron molecules formation, and some molecules, if you are taking how the shape is formed, how the geometry, what is the bond shape, bond length, bond angles, this is not explained by the causal Lewis theory. So orbital overlapping theory or valency bond theory is proposed by Heitler and London, two scientists. And here, as per this valency bond theory or orbital overlapping theory, mainly it is orbital overlapping theory. Orbital overlapping will result in the formation of a covalent bond mainly. Here, what is this mainly means? The postulates, the main postulates of this theory, if you are taking main points or postulates, postulates of this theory, if you are taking, first one is unstable atoms combine through overlapping of atomic orbitals containing unpaired electrons. So unstable atoms combine through overlapping of atomic orbitals containing unpaired electrons. So generally, what type of atoms will combine means which are unstable. Generally, hydrogen is combining with another hydrogen. Here, hydrogen is combining with another hydrogen. Why? Hydrogen has one electron. One electron means it is not a stable configuration. If it is having two electrons, it is a helium configuration, it is stable. So, the unstable atoms will combine through overlapping of atomic orbitals containing unpaired electrons. Atomic orbitals means, I think you know about the atomic orbitals, that is s orbital, p orbital, d orbital, f orbitals. So different shells are having different orbitals. In that s orbital, p orbital, d orbital, f orbital, they present in their valence shells valence electrons. Please remember, this is valence electrons. Atomic orbitals containing unpaired electrons in their valence shells will combine. So they are combining through overlapping of those atomic orbitals and forms a covalent bond, or normal covalent bond is obtained by the overlapping of atomic orbitals. Overlapping of atomic orbitals containing unpaired electrons. Suppose if I am taking nitrogen, nitrogen atomic number is 7. It is having 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. 2s2, 2p3 means orbital box diagram I am writing. Here this is having 1, 2, 3. And here it is having paired electrons. These are called as paired. And these three are called as unpaired electrons. So, on the total, this total is considered as the valence shell. These all are considered as valence electrons. In this, which involve in the overlapping and which forms covalent bond means unpaired electrons containing atomic orbitals. Here 2px1, 2py1, 2pz1. So this is a px orbital and this is a py orbital and this is a pz orbital. So these orbitals are only involving in the overlapping and forms the bond. This 2s orbital already it is paired. No need to form a bond. It is already having a pair of electrons. So these are called as non-bonded pair of electrons also. It is present in the valence shell, but it doesn't participate in the bonding, and we will see later about that. So, mainly unpaired electrons participate in the overlapping of atomic orbitals, and those containing unpaired electrons will participate in the overlapping and forms a covalent bond. Next, how much stronger the covalent bond means? It depends upon the extent of overlapping. The strength of a covalent bond depends on the extent of overlapping of atomic orbitals. Means whenever there is atomic orbitals, suppose I will give here, see, these are the p orbitals. These two are p orbitals. If these p orbitals are just overlapped like this, means they are very just attached only, then we can remove very easily. But when the p orbitals are overlapped like this, how it is appearing? So it is simply like this. So when the p orbitals are overlapped completely, then the bond becomes stronger. We cannot break easily. So the atomic orbitals overlapping is more. The extent of atomic orbitals overlapping is more, then the bond formed is stronger. If the atomic orbitals overlapping is very less, means like this, at the ends only they are just attached. There is a light overlapping or slight overlapping. This type of slight overlapping is there, then it can be easily broken. The bond will be broken easily. So, whenever the extent of overlapping is more, then the bond formed is stronger. That is second point. Next point. Due to overlapping of atomic orbitals, what happens? The electron density increases between the nuclei of bonded atoms. Suppose here, if this is the two atoms, the yellow colored balls are two atoms, central nuclei, and these are the orbitals, for example. When they are trying to overlap, what happens? The electron density, here see, the electron density between the two nuclei increases. Whenever the electron density increases, what happens? The attractive forces between these two nuclei increases. Whenever the attractive force increases, it becomes a stronger bond. Okay. Next, covalent bond has a directional nature. Covalent bond has a directional nature. How we can say the directional nature? Means atomic orbitals are present in this direction. Means it is called as internuclear axis. This is internuclear axis. Means I am writing, for example, this is the orbital, one atomic orbital, p orbital. This is another p atomic orbital. When they are overlapping here, this is the overlapped area. This is the overlapped area. This is called as the overlapped area, and this is the overlapped area. When they are overlapping in this direction, here we can say this is called as internuclear axis. When they are overlapping in the internuclear axis, and suppose if internuclear axis is z axis, so covalent bond is formed in z axis only, and electron density is present in the internuclear axis only. We can't get the electron density in above the internuclear axis or in y-axis or in x-axis. Okay, so for example, any molecule if you are taking in that overlapping, basing on the overlapping only, we can get the covalent bond, and the bond direction is the direction. Bond direction is the direction in which the atomic orbitals overlap. The bond direction is, the covalent bond direction is the direction in which the atomic orbitals overlap. So whenever covalent bond is formed, means in this direction they are making a overlapping, then covalent bond is formed only in this direction. This is covalent bond direction only. If covalent bond is formed in this direction, means overlapping also in the same direction. Suppose if they are overlapping in this direction, then covalent bond is formed in this direction only. So like this. Okay. So basing on the overlapping of atomic orbital direction, we can say the covalent bond direction. So covalent bond is a directional bond. And there is mainly three types of overlapping. One is called as SS overlapping, second one is called as SP overlapping, third one is called as a PP overlapping. What is SS overlapping? Here SS overlapping means whenever there is a spherically shaped s orbital and another spherically shaped s orbitals are overlapping. Here this is the overlapped area, and the spherically shaped s orbitals when overlap with another spherically shaped s orbital. For example, here this is hydrogen and this is hydrogen. Hydrogen has one s1 electron, and here there is one electron. This is one electron and there is another electron. These overlapping, and here this is nuclei, for example, then they forms a covalent bond that is called as SS overlapping. And next one is SP overlapping. Here for SP overlapping we can write the example HCl, or we can write the example H2O. or we can write the example NH3, or we can write the example CH4. We will give it. So in the types of overlapping, first one is SS overlapping. Example for this is hydrogen only. There is no other example for SS overlapping, only hydrogen molecule. Here it is a spherical shaped s orbital, another spherical shaped s orbital overlap, and here the hydrogen atom, this is one hydrogen atom and this is another hydrogen atom, and this hydrogen has one electron and this hydrogen has another electron, and we can indicate them by using a opposite spin electron like this. So one electron above the and upward and another electron downward, opposite spin containing two electrons we can represent. This is the overlapped area. So this is a hydrogen molecule formation. And next second type is sp overlapping. Here sp overlapping when we are taking. sp overlapping means the spherically shaped s orbital overlap with the dumbbell shaped p orbital. Example HCl formation. Here HCl means hydrogen I am taking. This is the spherical shaped s orbital of hydrogen and the dumbbell shaped p orbital. I am writing the p orbital. This is the dumbbell shaped p orbital overlapped here, and so we are writing two electrons. Hydrogen contains I am writing the configuration of hydrogen as 1s1, and I am writing the configuration of chlorine. Chlorine means it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. 3s2, 3p5 means it is fully filled, and here this is having 3p5. So see here 3p5 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this electron is the unpaired electron. For example, this is considered as 3pz orbital. This is a pz orbital for example, and this is s orbital. In between these two, one electron from the chlorine and another electron from the hydrogen. So they are overlapping, and here it is forming HCl. This is a chlorine atom and this is hydrogen atom, and forming HCl. H and Cl, single bond is formed. Okay, that is HCl formation. Second example, H2O molecule formation. Same sp overlapping. Second example, here hydrogen we already saw 1s1, oxygen atomic number is 8, 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. 2s2 means it is having two electrons in s orbital, 2p4, 1, and this is 2, 3, and this is 4. So here this is having one electron, that is suppose 3py, and this is having 3pz orbital, for example, having single electrons. Now I am writing this oxygen atom 3py, 3pz orbitals. So please see here, this is a 3pz orbital for example, and this is the 3py orbital. Z-axis and y-axis present in 90 degrees angle. Please remember very important thing. Here this is the y-axis and this is the z-axis. And here now I am taking hydrogen atoms. How many hydrogens we have? Two hydrogens. And each hydrogen is a spherical shaped s orbital containing. Now I am writing the hydrogen atom, spherical shaped s orbital overlapping here and forms a bond with this. Here another electron from the oxygen. Okay, and here this is forming S and P overlapping bond. And in the present from internuclear axis, this is also called as sigma bond. I will give later. This is sigma bond. Okay, sp overlapping. Here this is hydrogen and this is oxygen atom. This is oxygen atom. And second overlapping, second hydrogen also present now. That second overlapping, this is another hydrogen, and here one electron from hydrogen, second electron from oxygen. This is also another sp overlapping. Now tell me, what is the shape of H2O molecule? It is like perpendicular shape. That is here you can see that here this is the direction of for example y-axis, and this is the direction of x-axis. This is z-axis. It is now taken as z-axis. So x and y-axis directions are like this. Okay, here what is the angle between them? In between z and y axis or x and y axis or xz axis, so what is the angle? 90 degrees. This is very important. What is the bond angle? Please remember, bond angle. Bond angle according to valency bond theory, VBT. According to valency bond theory, very important question. Previously asked also, what is the bond angle? Bond angle according to valency bond theory. H2O bond angle means 90 degrees. But practically it is wrong. H2O molecule contains 104.5 degrees. Why this is, I will give later. That is a drawback of this valency bond theory. So, if they are asking particularly specifically according to valency bond theory or orbital overlapping theory, the bond angle of H2O molecule is 90 degrees only. How 90 degrees means? It is shown the s orbital of hydrogen and one p orbital, 3pz orbital, another s orbital of hydrogen, second hydrogen, another 3px orbital, y orbital are overlapping and having an angle of 90 degrees. Here you see, this is what is the angle. Here this angle is 90 degrees only now. So this angle is 90 degrees only. So we are having 90 degrees angle. So H2O molecule as per valency bond theory has 90 degrees angle. Please remember that. Another example is NH3 molecule. Here nitrogen is having 1s2, 2s2, 2p3 configuration. 2s2 means 2 electrons paired, non-bonded pair, and 2p3 means it is having 1 electron, 1 electron, 1 electron. Suppose this is a 3px orbital, this is a 3p y orbital, and this is a 3p z orbital. Means in NH3 molecule, it is having 3p orbitals. This is one p orbital dumbbell shaped, and this is second p orbital, another dumbbell shape, and this is the third p orbital. Actually, third p orbital, how we can indicate means, please see here. You can write like so. This is a black color. This black color is the x-axis. This is y-axis. What is the z-axis? How we can indicate? Do you know? This is the z-axis. This is the z-axis. But is it possible to indicate this type in on the board? Because board is two-dimensional now. This is three-dimensionally we can see. So how we can indicate? It is looking like this. But this is not actually as per this the structure, original structure of 3xyz axis is like this. So please remember, so if you look like this, so see please how it is appearing. The blue color, red color and black color are having only 45 degrees angle. But originally what is the actual structure? This is the actual structure. How much angle is present between them? Here see, between any two axes, the angle will be 90 degrees. It must be 90 degrees. Okay. So now I am indicating the third one. The third one here I am indicating with the third one. Okay, in black only we use. So this is third one. I am writing here, but actually it is up or above the board. So this is a 3p x-axis or 3p z-axis for example, and this is a 3py and this is 3px. So 3 are present and each contains one electron. This is 1 electron and this is 1 electron containing and this is 1 electron containing. Now hydrogen atoms are present now. Each sorry, each hydrogen has one electron in spherical shaped s orbital. So now I am writing, so here this is 3p orbital and it is spherical shaped s orbital overlap, and here it is forming sp bond, and again here spherical shaped s orbital overlap, and this is forming another sp bond, this is another sp bond hydrogen, and here also it is forming spherical shaped s orbital overlapping and forms a sp bond. Okay, through the internuclear axis the bond electron density is present, so this is called as a sigma bond actually, and sigma bond pi bond I will give later. Okay, so this is sp bonds, 3 sp bonds are present. Now I said now just now, so what is the angle between the two bonds, means in between two nitrogen atoms, nitrogen hydrogen, nitrogen hydrogen, or nitrogen hydrogen, any two nitrogen hydrogen bonds if you take, what is the angle between them? Is it 45? No, please remember here also the bond angle means between two bonds, here two hydrogen, or between two hydrogen, or in between two hydrogen. Between two hydrogen, the angle NH bonds, the bond angle is 90 degrees only, not 45 degrees or not other. As per valency bond theory, according to valency bond theory, NH3 molecule is having 90 degrees bond angle. Okay, I said now here this is looking like this. Okay, and this is looking like this, for example. So this is looking like this, and the third one is like this. So when we are having such type of bonding, then what happen? In between these two, the angle is 90 degrees. Between these two, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. And between these two also angle is 90 degrees. In between these two, 90 degrees. Whatever it may be, we are getting 90 degrees angle only. Okay. So according to valency bond theory, the bond angle in NH3 molecule is 90 degrees only. So this is another example for sp overlapping. The third type of overlapping is pp overlapping. Here pp overlapping means, example for this is either fluorine or chlorine or O2 also we can take, N2 also we can take. Suppose fluorine is taken. Fluorine atomic number is 9, configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. Sorry. This is 2s2 and this is 2p5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here in this 3pz orbital, it is having one unpaired electron. So 3pz orbital of one fluorine atom and another 3pz orbital of second fluorine atom overlaps here, and here it is having two electron, and this is called as a pp bond. As I shown now here, two dumbbells. This is one dumbbell, this is another dumbbell, and these are overlapping here, and they are forming a sigma pp bond. Okay, this is pp overlapping. And next, one more important point. Basing on the way of overlapping of atomic orbitals, these covalent bonds are divided into two types. Two types. In that first type is called as sigma bond. Sigma bond. And the second type is called as pi bond. Here sigma bond is also indicated simply by sigma, and pi bond is indicated by this letter. So sigma bond and pi bond. What is the sigma bond and pi bond, sir? Here always remember sigma bond is formed by the p orbital, d orbitals or f orbitals, and s orbitals also. But pi bond is formed by p, d and f orbitals only. I will give the differences later. Sigma bond, pi bond differences. So mainly this is formed. How the sigma bond and pi bond is formed? So here we will discuss the main difference, sigma bond, pi bond. The atomic orbitals overlapping along the internuclear axis. Here what is this internuclear axis, sir? Suppose simply, please see, this is s orbital. Suppose we are taking another s orbital. This is nucleus, this is nucleus. And the axis which is passing, a line which is passing or joining these two nuclei is called as internuclear axis. If there is a p orbital, for example, this is p orbital and this is also p orbital. If the axis which is passing through the two nuclei is called as internuclear axis. So the internuclear axis means the line which is passing through two nuclei of the bonded atoms. That is called as internuclear axis. If overlapping is occurring along the internuclear axis, s orbitals means any axis is the internuclear axis we can take, because s orbital is spherical in shape. Any direction we can take. But p orbitals, when we are taking, if this is the axis, means if these are the orbitals shape, and in this direction if they are overlapping, then this is called as a internuclear axis. Or simply you remember, here this yellow ball is a nucleus, this yellow ball is nucleus. In this direction, if the overlapping is occurring, then this is called as internuclear axis. How it is internuclear axis, sir? Please see here, I am taking like this. Whenever I am taking like this is the internuclear axis, this is the line, the red marker is the line. When this line is passing through this now, so through the two nuclei, so this is called as internuclear axis. Along the internuclear axis if this passing, then the overlapping is always called as sigma bond formation. Head on overlapping or end to end overlapping, linear or axial overlapping, all are different names. So this internuclear axis means, suppose this is one orbital, this is another orbital, and the line is passing through this, then it is called as sigma bond formation. Okay, pi bond means how? The atomic orbitals overlapping above and below the internuclear axis. Here I am taking two orbitals. See here, this is one orbital, and the second orbital I am taking this one. This is second orbital. Here this is nuclei, and the line which is passing through this is called as internuclear axis. And in this, the nuclei above and below the internuclear axis means above is this one, below means this one. When these are trying to overlap, this is overlapping above and below, then it is called as pi bond formation. Here, like this, here, when we are taking like this, so I took like this. Here, see here, this is two yellow balls are joined. That is internuclear axis. This is internuclear axis, for example. Okay, it is passing like this. But orbital density, electron density, lobes were taking above and below the plane. When these are connected like this, two by overlapping and these two by overlapping, then the bond formed is called as pi bond. This is called as pi bond. It is lateral overlapping or sideway overlapping or below and above the axis overlapping occurs. Okay, this is the difference between sigma and pi bond. Generally, sigma bond is formed by s, p, d, f orbitals, but pi bond is formed by p, d, f orbitals only. S orbitals will never form pi bonds. Okay, in this we can see SS overlapping or SP overlapping or PP overlapping, but in this we can see PP overlapping or PD overlapping or DD overlapping. Here DD overlapping is also possible, but here SS overlapping is absent. Please remember. SS overlapping, SP overlapping is also absent. Pi bonds are not formed by SS and SP overlappings. So SS and SP overlappings forming sigma bonds always. Okay, and always remember, in between two atoms, first sigma bond is formed, then only pi bond formation occurs. Sigma bond is formed individually, it can exist individually, whereas pi bond cannot exist. Pi bond can be only formed after the sigma bond formation between two atoms. For example, oxygen is taken. In between two oxygen atoms, as per the configuration, I will give 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. Here it is having two electrons in the valence shell. This is two electrons. First electron forms a sigma bond, the second electron forms a pi bond. Here we will give the structure. Suppose this is one p orbital of one oxygen, second p orbital of another oxygen. The next oxygen I am taking, the next oxygen we are writing with a marker, black marker. This is one p orbital and this is the another p orbital. So here it is one overlapping, this is sigma bond. And above the plane, the two orbitals, here this is for example, this is a 3p y orbital, this is a 3p z orbital. It is for example 3p z orbital and 3p z orbital overlapping, and this is 3p y orbital, 3p y orbital, 3p y orbital. By the sidewise overlapping they are forming. Here sidewise overlap means this type of overlapping above the axis and below the axis. Here this is the internuclear axis. This is the internuclear axis above the axis and below the axis. Here in between two yellow balls directly along the internuclear axis sigma bond is formed, and above the axis below the axis pi bond is formed. So this is pi bond, this is pi bond, and this is sigma bond. So in between two oxygen atom there is two bonds. One is a sigma bond, another one is a pi bond. And in the nitrogen also we are having a triple bond. In this one is sigma, the remaining two are pi bonds. Always in between two atoms in a multiple bond, one is only sigma bond, remaining all are pi bonds. Two sigma bonds will never get in between two atoms. Okay, in between two atoms, two sigma bonds is not formed in a multiple bond. Okay, and sigma bonds are always stronger because extent of overlapping is more. Extent of overlapping is more, so sigma bonds are stronger than pi bonds. I will give the order later.